Hola gente, ¿cómo están? Ojalá que estén bien. I hope that you're doing well. For today's topic, I'd like to quickly finish off the regular verb patterns. So in Spanish, we have three ways of conjugating verbs. We have, as you've already seen, the AR verbs and the ER verbs. We have a third option. We have the IR verbs, the verbs that end in las letras IR, IR. So there aren't quite as many of these as there are AR verbs, which are so abundant. There's still a few that we can work with for today to get this pattern down. So, as per my usual habit of starting off with something disgusting like vomitar or sangrar, today we're going to start off with escupir, to spit. So the infinitive escupir is to spit, and then the yo form is escupo. Just like with the AR and ER verbs, we cut off that IR and we replace it with an O. Fácil. So escupo, I spit, I am spitting, I do spit. Those are all possible translations. Tu form, escupes, you spit. You do spit, you are spitting, whatever. Escupe, he, she, it spits, or you, usted, spit. Escupimos, we spit. Escupís, if you're learning vosotros, that's the vosotros form with just one I, accent mark on the I, and an S. Escupís, y'all spit. Escupen, they spit, or ustedes escupen, y'all spit. So, fácil, you may notice something unusual. With our AR verbs, we have an A in the ending somewhere, except for the yo form, always just has that O. With the ER verbs, we always have an E in the ending, except for the yo form, just has that O. With the IR verbs, we don't usually have I. We have escupimos, we have the I there, and also with escupis. Now, when I was learning Spanish, my teacher, was Puerto Riqueña. She didn't bother to teach us the vosotros form. It's not widely used, so there's not a great need to know it. So we just learned these five forms, escupo, escupes, escupe, escupimos, escupen. And then she turns and asks us, what happened to the I? And she says, I guess the E was just stronger and took over. But when we all get together, we can assert our independence, which starts with an I in English, even though it doesn't sound like an I. And we can assert our independence, and we have a breakthrough with our identity. Also starts with an I. I don't know if that's going to help you remember, but it's just the nosotros, and if you're learning it, vosotros forms that have it. If you're learning vos because you plan to go to Argentina or Nicaragua, in this case it's the same as the vosotros form. Vos escupís. So there you have it. These are the forms of IR verbs. So when you see verbs like vivir, in English, let's see, what cognates do we have? We have, I don't know, biology and zoology words for viviparous and things. Vivify is to bring something to life. This vivir is to live. It's live both in the sense of inhabit, like I live in this city or in this country, but it's also live just in the sense of, yep, I'm still drawing breath. El corazón todavía late. Oh, latir, there's an IR verb I haven't included today. So vivir, vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, viven. If you're learning vosotros or vos, it would be vivís, with the accent mark on that I-S. Vivo, vives, vive, vivimos, viven. So knowing that vivir is to live, guess what sobrevivir means? We got our English equivalent from French, so it sounds a little different. It's survivre, survive in English. Sobrevivir is to live over. Ha! To overlive, it's like to, live through something, we would say, in other words in English. So, but it's just because it ends in vivir, guess what? You have the same forms. So I'm surviving, sobrevivo. You survive, sobrevives. He survives, she survives, it survives, or you formal form survives, sobrevive. We survive, we live, sobrevivimos. They survive, you guys survive, sobreviven. Fácil. Escribir. So let's see, what words do we have in English that relate to this? Scrivener, that's very old-fashioned. Script is something that you read that's written down. Prescription is something written down. So escribir is to write, to scribe. A scribe is a person who writes things, like professionally. Nowadays, I guess that would be a secretary or a transcriptionist, same Latin root. Escribir is to write, so escribo, I write. Escribes, you write. Escribe, you formal form write. Escribe, he, she, it writes. Escribimos, we write. And escriben, they write, or y'all write, you guys write. Escribís if you're learning vosotros or vos. So fácil. One letter away, we get describir, to describe. It's almost the same word in English. So the forms are simple enough. Describo, describes, describe, describimos, describen. Fácil. So those are, especially, I guess, escribir and hopefully vivir are some of the more useful IR verbs. The one I said that I suddenly remembered while we were talking is latir. I only know of one thing that does this, your heart. Late. I mean, I guess the yo form would be lato, the tu form would be lates, but you say late, for el corazón late. It's beat, but beat like the heart beats. Maybe it's used for something else, but corazones laten, hearts beat. This is the word that you use for that. It's not some other word like you would use for beating a person. Abrir is to open. Abro, abres, abre. Abrimos, abren. You might abrir la puerta. You might open the door. You might abrir la ventana. You might open the window. You might abrir un libro. You might abrir, I don't know, una mochila. You might open a book bag or a backpack. Fácil. Compartir. So, let's see. Is there a cognate for this in English to help you remember? Compartment, that's not helpful. Compartir is to share. So you might compartir un apartamento, you might share an apartment. Or you might compartir una casa, you might share a house. You might compartir un postre. Don't try to compartir my postre, because I'll stab you with my fork. But comparte, compartimos, comparten. Comparto, compartes. It forms the same forms as all of the other IR verbs. Comparto, compartes, comparte, compartimos, comparten. Oh, where did I jump up to? Permitir, to permit, is the opposite of prohibir, to prohibit. I'm sure you recognize those words from their English cognates. Permito, permites, permite, not to be confused with prohibimos, we forbid. Prohíben, they forbid, or y'all forbid. So, permitir, I guess, is also, in a different way, kind of the opposite of insistir, to insist. Permitting it is one thing, but insisting on it is another thing. Insisto, insistes, insiste, insistimos, insisten. Fácil. All three of those, permitir, prohibir, insistir, are probably going to be followed with the word que. I permit that. I forbid that. I insist that. And then afterwards, you might have to use the subjunctive, which we're not learning yet. You might also insistir en, insist on something. That's also a possibility. Añadir is to add. It's not add like math. In math, you sumar. Sumar, regular AR verb if you're making addition. Not to be confused with restar, to subtract, or multiplicar, to multiply, obviously. All of those are regular air verbs, I think. Sumar, restar, multiplicar. Dividir, conveniently. You might use it when you compartir something. You might have to dividir las cuentas. You might have to divide the bills. Or you might have to dividir el postre. But again, don't. I'll stab you with my fork. So regular IR verb. Divido, divides, divide, etc. But añadir is more like something you would do with a recipe, una receta. So you might añadir sal, salt. You might añadir azúcar, sugar, queso, cheese, pimienta. I nearly said peppermint. That's not peppermint. It's that red and black stuff. It's pepper. We call it pepper in English. Ajo, garlic. You can always añadir más ajo. Siempre vale la pena añadir ajo. You can always add more garlic. There's never enough garlic. Except maybe in the postre. A little too much garlic in the postre could be a problem. But it's regular. Añado, añades, añade, añadimos, añaden. Discutir is both a cognate and a false cognate. So it can mean to discuss, like to talk about something. But it can also and frequently means to argue, like to, have a fight about something. So the most common place I hear this word is in the sentence, no quiero discutirlo, which can mean both. I don't want to discuss it. The lo tacked onto the end is it. Or no quiero discutirlo, I don't want to fight about it. It could be either one, depending on the person, depending on the dialect, depending on the context. Well, I'm sorry, I can't clarify it for you more than that. I just avoid using the word so that I don't confuse people. And of course, you can recibir stuff. You can receive noticias. You can recibir news. You can recibir dinero. You could receive some money. Wouldn't that be nice? You can recibir más postre. You might need to receive some more dessert. So, related word you have recibo is a receipt. It's a noun, but still it's a good word to have. It's also obviously the yo form of the verb. Recibo, I receive. So here's just a short starter kit to round out our regular verb series. So now you have the present tense of regular AR, ER, and IR verbs, confusingly named AR, ER, IR en español. Pues que la pasen bien, que tengan un buen día, un buen fin de semana, una buena semana, lo que sea. Hasta luego, nos vemos. Chao.